Hello, everybody. Welcome back to another week of Travel Talk. As always, my name is Ali, and I am so happy to have you here. Before we start with this week's Travel Talk, I would be remiss if I didn't address the technical issues that we had in last week's Travel Talk. So please be advised that we did do a recording of last week's Travel Talk on our Amazon River cruise, and that will be posted to both our Facebook and YouTube channels in the coming hours after today. So if you were on the registration list for last week's Travel Talk, you will be receiving an email directly from me that will give you access to that recording. But with that being said, I have probably, I shouldn't say this, but probably the most exciting, in my opinion, travel talk for you today, because we will be talking about our hike through the Dolomites in, I think, June of next year. So this is June 22nd to the 29th of 2025. And I have so much to say about this. I mean, I don't know if anyone really here knows, but I have these mountains tattooed on my arm. So this is a really, really special itinerary for me. This trip changed my life, and I really hope that it'll do the same for you. So I'm joined today by two experts in not just active touring, but the Dolomites themselves. I have Trish, the CEO of Bike Hike, and Greta as well here, who is in Italy and knows this itinerary forwards and backwards. So she is going to join us as well. So without further ado, I'm going to add them into the screen. So here is Greta and here is Trish. Hi, guys.
Hello.
Hi. Hi,
Thank
everyone.
you. Thank you guys so much for being here. As you know, as we've discussed before coming on today, I couldn't be more excited to do this. So I know, Greta, you have a presentation for us, but
You.
wanted to, give a little bit of an introduction to yourself and your company and your involvement with this tour and the Women's Travel Club.
Okay, so I'll start. I'm Trish Sayre, and I'm the founder and the owner of Bike Hike Adventures. And we are in our 31st year of travel. I'm actually one of the pioneers in the adventure travel industry in North America, and especially in the female realm. There were very, very few, so it's sort of something very special. And yeah, we do trips in 30 destinations worldwide. I have Italian roots. My mother was Italian, my father Maltese. So I'm pure Mediterranean, although born in Canada. And yeah, we're based in Vancouver, but I'm originally from Toronto and was just there last week as well. And I'm actually off to Italy in just a couple of weeks in Emilia-Romagna. So, and I was actually there 2 months ago as well. So yeah.
Enough.
Yeah. And I'm going to hand it over to Greta, who's going to do the presentation. And she's actually, as Ali said, she's in Italy. So Greta, feel free to go and introduce yourself.
Oh, sorry, I didn't mean to click that. Hi, Greta.
Thank you. Hi. My name is Greta. I'm Italian, and I'm Italian living in Italy. And together with Trish, we're working on the most fabulous hiking program for the Dolomites for the next year. The Dolomites are along the destinations I know the most, and absolutely my favorite place in Italy. We have put together a tour to include a selection of the best spots, actually, because there's so much to see in the region. So we have to make a selection to fit into the 8-day tour. So the hikes have been picked in order for you to see the luscious and more relevant environments, and to have a little bit of mingle with the locals with some local experiences. You'll have a very skilled English-speaking mountain guide with you that will provide information and hints on the local culture, the environment around you, nature, that will take care about everything regarding logistics and safety, of course. Sorry, Ali,
I can put it up.
stop
Yeah.
the presentation maybe, or is it live already?
There you go. Sorry, I know I never know when to
Thank
put it
you.
up. I'm like, you tell me. But you can go forward and backwards. I'll let you do it.
Thank you. So the reason I've asked you to start with the presentation is that I've prepared some pictures for you to, because I think that's the best way to get the feeling of what you will see, and you will dive into and will be immersed to. So that's what you will see and hiking and live and experience and breathe. So I cannot help going personal with the Dolomites, because even if I do not live in the Dolomites, I know them. I started visiting them from my daddy's backpack as a 2-year-old baby. So,
That's
so,
amazing.
and I visited them in all seasons: summer, winter, skiing, hiking, kayaking, cycling. So they're absolutely my favorite sport on earth. So I think that starting with some pictures will let you dream and imagine and get a sense of feeling of what you'll suffer and you will experience in your trip.
Mhm.
Um, of course, it's natural landscape, lush meadows, peaceful places, cows, and all this kind of natural spots.
Mhm.
But not only that, because we will stay in cozy towns, very peaceful, surrounded by pigs. For example, that's Cortina, which you may have heard of. That's not the only place we will stay during the itinerary. We will overnight in 3 different towns, 2 of them in the most relevant valleys and logistically located and picked to be close to the main hikes, and that's Cortina, the most popular one. But it's still a small city, not a big one, with a tranquil, very peaceful atmosphere.
Mhm.
So now that I've shown you some pictures, I'll dive into the details of the itinerary.
Mhm.
Some of you may arrive some days earlier to visit Venice and have arrangements with um, own arrangements, but we'll start meeting in Venice anyhow. And the first day will just be dedicated to meet your travel mates and your tour leader, and be transferred that from Venice to the Dolomites directly. So you will be briefed by the mountain guide, and then we'll enjoy a gorgeous dinner,
Mhm.
welcome dinner, and we'll have some decompressed time to relax after your long trip. Then we'll start with a hiking program. The first hike is a moderate one. So the first day, hiking days, is just to warm up a little bit and to assess the hiking general hiking level, so that if we need to make adjustments, we can do that for the following days. The first hike will show dramatic views over the Marmolada Glacier. So it will be a good start. The next hikes will be moderate to challenging, with the last one challenging, not on the point of view of how many miles we will hike, but on the point of view of the elevation gain and loss. It's a loop hike, so if anyone does not really feel like doing that, is not confident doing that, we can find alternatives for activities in Cortina, which is a nice place to spend a free day, or the itinerary can just be adjusted. Um, the hikes will generally take the first part of the day, preferably starting quite early in the morning, in order for you to have the whole day, the whole sunlight, to enjoy the hike with no stress. And we'll be taking gondolas sometimes to reach the starting point, or to go back. What I would like to point out is that up in the mountains, there will be no chance to have a support vehicle, because it's simply not accessible. So will be transferred when needed. There will be a transfer to the starting point of the hike and back, and of course, luggage will be transferred between the hotels. But then up in the mountains will be there will be no private vehicle with us, support vehicle with us. Anyhow, the mountain guide is very skilled and will help you with all the safety rules that you need to know to enjoy your hike in the safest conditions. She has been a mountain guide means that she has a specific license to do that. So she's totally trained even in emergency situations. And don't forget, there's always an alpine emergency service in case an accident happens or someone feels really exhausted and cannot make it anymore. So we'll have solutions in place anyhow. Sometimes we'll take gondolas. So be sure, I mean, you don't feel, be sure you feel okay with that, with some, because sometimes they may be tight. So
just a little bit, just a little.
like I had a picture like this one, the central one. So
it's scary, but it's it is safe. I was in that one just for members, and it's nerve-wracking, but just know that these people do it every day, and they know what they're doing, and they're gonna make sure you're as safe as possible.
Yeah, and there are other access points to that hike. So in case someone does not really feel like entering, we can find an alternative. No problem. So when we organize our trips, we also like to include something about the local culture, not only natural landscapes or buildings. So you will have an experience with food. Here there are 3 examples of what the most typical goodies are. For example, cheese is produced in the area, pretty everywhere, and you will see cows in the meadows. The central one is a bombardino. If you read the name on the glass, it has bomb in the name, and it's a real bomb because it's a shot that alpine people used to drink after climbing to regenerate, to restore energies and the heat in their bodies. And it's actually made with alcohol, egg, sugar, and cream. So it's really a bomb.
Yeah.
For your energies. And the third picture shows polenta, which is corn wheat, based on corn wheat with sausages and mushrooms. Something really typical there is also beer, and we'll actually visit a brewery, a local one. You will see their small production plant, which is very renowned for the green commitment. So they use 100% green energy, and they source only local produce. And for the very advanced brewing technology that comes from Germany. After the visit, we'll taste some of their beers paired with some, in this nice room, paired with some local goodies like coconuts or breads, which is always good after a long hiking day. So I'll go now through the technical part of it. So I've prepared 2 lines about the suggested training. the hikes won't be very long, but there will be a relevant elevation gain and elevation loss. So my suggestion is to hike every week for a few weeks, better if for months, with a day pack, not so many kilometers, but getting used to the elevation gain and loss, because that's the main challenge over there. If you can do that, you're perfectly fit for this trip, no problem. The hikes are not particularly challenging anyhow. The type of terrain is doable with trekking boots. So there's no climbing, nothing like
No,
that.
like climbing up the rocks on the side of the mountain. None of that.
It is not that.
Perfect.
Now, some tips about what to bring in your gear list. So first thing first, trekking boots. Those are compulsory. You won't be allowed to the treks, to the hikes without trekking boots or trekking shoes, according to your preferences. Better if they are overproof, waterproof, because it may rain. Then the weather in June, it's usually sunny with quite hot days. When you're hiking in the sun, it's quite hot, but in the evening it gets quite cold. So I suggest several warm layers, starting from your t-shirt and then a jumper, technical shirts, and then a wind jacket for sure, because very high can be windy, and rainproof gear. Comfortable clothes for hiking, of course, and hiking poles just if you're used to use them or you suffer knee pain or knee issues. But if you're not used to use them, it's okay. Yeah, I always hike without them, even in the mountains, so it's okay. In your day pack, you should have sunscreen, sunglasses, water. That's very important. We'll find mountain hats during the hikes, but I mean, it's not every mile. So at least 2 liters every day. Your lunch, your packaged lunch, and a phone battery. This is something I really suggest, because batteries with rarefacted air, atmosphere, hiking the mountains, batteries tend to go down very quickly. So I always suggest that you bring a phone battery in your day pack.
Can I ask something, Greta, there, just in terms of batteries and charging and stuff? What are do North American clients need to buy a converter or a different outlet for plugs in Italy? That's something that they need to look into.
Yeah, you do. Most hotels now have the USB plugs, but since it's common but not everywhere, my suggestion is to have an universal converter.
Yeah,
Those ones that are very affordable, and you can find them everywhere, even at the airport directly. I have a very compact, small one, which I fit in my hand baggage every time I travel, and I use it all over the world.
Okay. Yeah, I thought I knew the answer, but just to.
I have a really good tip on that one, because nowadays a lot of people have many devices that they need to charge.
Yes.
So it's not a bad idea to just add in a little extra extension plug that you can put a couple of things in. I always do that on all my trips now, because it could be a phone, it could be, well, I guess your phone is your camera now, but just in case you have extra devices.
Oh yeah, laptop, iPads, there's even your Apple Watch, if you have one of those, stuff like that.
That's true. Yeah, I agree.
And then another little thing that was personal to me, but you never know if anybody else wants a hat, because my scalp at the altitude, you're very high up and it might be windy and the clouds might be there, but the sun is stronger than the clouds and it will get you. So if you do have fair skin, I know I am Italian, but I have fair skin. just protect yourself a little extra because of that altitude. You will be pretty high.
Thank you.
And I'm going to add one more thing that I don't go anywhere without is a buff. A buff that goes, it's like a neck warmer. And it's fantastic. Like I have it in every single bag, almost like I have gloves in every single jacket pocket.
Yeah.
I would never go anywhere without a buff, because if your neck is warm and if the weather is variable, it's great. And everyone, they're easy to find now.
Yeah, good to know. Maybe I'll do, because I'm doing Machu Picchu in 2
Oh,
weeks. So
100% bring it to Peru.
Yeah. Oh, thank you. Making my notes. Anyway, sorry, Greta.
Thank you. No, that's very useful. Thank you. So I would like to dedicate 2 minutes to the mountain guide, to the role of the mountain guide, because it's good to know what their role will be and what she'll be there for. I mean, mountain guides have a specific license to guide in the mountains. So they're very skilled about the environment that they're bringing visitors to, of the trails, of course, and of all the safety rules. Our mountain guides have a specific training for first aid in case of need. And so they will have a technical role in which they have the knowledge of the trails and the environment. And something very important is that the weather in the mountains change very quickly. So you may have a perfectly spotless blue sky, and it gets like cloudy and stormy in 1 hour. So the mountain guide has the role to apply to source the correct information and say, okay, that's spotless now, but it may not be in 1 hour, so we'll change the itinerary according to that and that. And it's better not to go hike in the mountains today. So that's very important. She will also be the filter between you and the destination. And as said before, sets safety rules for everyone. So the Dolomites, the mountains is still an environment to be careful of. Anyhow, then she will coordinate with the office to have the program run smoothly and spotless. And she will coordinate, and so if you need to provide some feedback, you can apply to her directly, and she will report to us.
And we also, I believe, for on the side of Women's Travel Club, this is one of our classic tours. So our members know, with all of our classic and signature tours, a Women's Travel Club tour host will also be in attendance on this trip. So not only will our members have the support of the mountain guide, but they will also have the support of the tour host. Now, it is not me, and I am heartbroken. But so you will, but of course our hosts are all quite knowledgeable, experienced, and you'll be in good hands. But that, of course, will be that liaison between the Women's Travel Club office as well. Should anything happen that needs our attention, you have that extra level of not protection, but for lack of a better term, you've got us on your side, and then you also have, of course, the mountain guide with bike hikes. So you've got lots of layers of protection and safety, and there's a lot that goes into making sure that the people guiding you through this know what they're doing, and you will be well taken care of.
Thank you. So thank you. Thanks for your attention. If you have questions, comments, we're here to answer.
Yeah, definitely. Thank you. Like the pictures, as soon as you clicked on the first slide, I'm like, oh, like it just makes me so thank you.
Yeah, something that I could not conceive with a picture is the atmosphere when you're like immersed over there. It's the sense of peace and serenity.
Oh yeah. I have these amazing pictures and whatnot, I've got it on my arm. And even this, it's like you don't understand until you get there. And like I said in the beginning of this, I this trip changed my life. And I didn't get to do even half of what this itinerary has in store for our members. I only did 2 of the multitude of spots that can be seen here. And I'd just love to know, Greta, because you've in a backpack with your dad as a baby, like you know these mountains. And from our itinerary, which day would you be the most excited about? I know you had the slide with each mountain and which one would be your like, oh, I'm so excited.
Maybe I cannot remember exactly what day it is, but the one with the Sassopiatto with the tight gondolas.
Yes, that's
because when I
day 3.
Yeah, exactly. So you take the gondola up to here.
Mm-hmm.
Do you see my pointer? Do you see my pointer, my mouse pointing, or not? It's not visible. So you see there's a little hut just in the middle of the 2 mountains.
Oh, yeah, right below the slope in the middle. Yes.
The little white dot.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh,
It's a little white dot between the 2 peaks.
Oh, I see now. Yes. Right there. No, it doesn't matter. Nobody can see where my finger there. Yes.
There I was moved and cried for emotion when I got there, like very early in the morning with all the world around. You see the world from there. And it's, that maybe was one of the best ones I've ever seen. Yeah.
Is that the one with the tight gondola? Is this the one where you have to take the 2-person?
It is.
Okay. So this is the one where you can see the Alps direct. So when you're looking out, is that a different one? Because I think I've been on this mountain as well, and actually my stepdad proposed to my mom on this mountain.
Oh.
So it's a very emotional, like it was not planned. He didn't plan to do it there.
Oh.
That kind of goes to show you the kind of emotion that you feel when you're in these mountains. Like, oh my God, this is a place where I want to propose to the love of my life. Like that.
Oh, I totally agree.
Right. And you're standing in the Dolomites and you're seeing the Alps, and you're at I think the part that got me the most was you're with the birds. You will be standing and the birds will be flying in front of you. And you're like, why are the birds so low to the ground? And it's like, they're not. You're just high in the sky. And it's moments like that connect you to the nature and just like the environment and I can't even get my words out. It is truly incredible. I'm not surprised that you chose this one to be one of your favorites. And Trish, you've done the Dolomites as well?
I have been in the Dolomites as well, and they're absolutely magical. It's been a few years since I've been there, but one of the things that I really remember about the Dolomites was we entered into a little village that was very close to the Austrian border and saw so much culture from the Austrian side as well. And it was like they were all in their, I don't even know what you call the Austrian.
They're like
their leather overall. It was so magical. And there was a wedding up there.
Oh.
And it was just, you're surrounded by granite peaks, or I don't know if it's granite, but just incredible peaks that you're just like, you feel so tiny on this planet.
Mm-hmm. Oh, that was my experience. I thought, well, if this is here, what else is out there? And I would love for this itinerary, this tour, to be that moment for our members to spark their wanderlust, because that is what these mountains did for me. If it wasn't for the Dolomites, I might not be working in travel. it really sparked that wanderlust in me, and I really want that for our members as well. So I'm not surprised at all. A question for you guys in terms of the altitude, because our members are generally of the age range of 55 to 75, and health can be an issue sometimes. So do you have any recommendations on should they talk to a healthcare professional before coming if they have any reservations, or what's your kind of guidance on that?
I mean, only if they have like heart or breathing issues, I would suggest to apply to a physician, because it's altitudes that are like livable, let's say. But of course, in case of specific problems, then I would apply for sure, for sure. Like same as with flying. I mean, if someone has breathing or heart issues, it's useful to apply to a physician before traveling, before flying. And I would suggest the same, actually. But I think unless you suffer vertigo, I don't see. Yeah, I mean, vertigo may be a problem sometimes. It depends on the level. If it's just mild, it's totally okay. You will never have empty space under your feet, never. But you will still be very high. So if it's serious, maybe that's not the altitude for you.
Yeah. And in saying that, there will be no opportunity, I guess you could say, for our members to be given any sort of medication from either the Women's Travel Club or from Bike Hike. That is an absolute no-go. So just as to cover both of us, just to let our members know, should you need any sort of like extra medication, even if it's Advil or like painkillers, just something simple as that, we cannot be at liberty to provide members with those kinds of medications. So it just goes with saying that even if you have worries about allergies, bring a Benadryl, because I or whoever the guide is, we are not at liberty to provide any sort of medication to you. So I just like to, for our active tours, I like to make that known prior to within these presentations, just in case people have that assumption in their heads. Just looking at what I've got here. Oh, actually, I did have a thought, Trish. You were mentioning the Austrian influence in these towns. And as you guys know, my family lives in Nalles, which is really, really close to the Austrian border, which this part of Italy, correct me if I'm wrong, used to be Austria. And, they since have taken it, and in some history stuff that happened. And but this is a great example of how the different regions in Italy are like little countries of their own.
Absolutely.
And, right, it's such a geographically small country, especially if you're from North America and you're comparing it to places like Canada, where Trish and I are in the same country but like 10 hours apart in terms of getting to each other. But it's like you've got your Austrian influence with your lederhosen, your wooden paneled, architecture and things like that, and then you've got the Italian food and the Italian people and the amalgamation of the two cultures together within these regions are just. It's unique, and it's an experience that you can't get anywhere else. And even if you go over the border into Austria, there's very little Italian influence over there. They do not take well to because they like their country. But with the Italian side of it, you are going to get a great mix of culture, and you're going to be exposed to a way of life that isn't done or seen or experienced anywhere else. And I think that on top of how amazing the Dolomites are, that cultural experience in itself is something that is incredibly unique and specific. So if the hiking isn't going to draw you in, then let the culture draw you in, because it is pretty incredible as well.
Well said, Ali.
Sorry, I'm like reading my questions here. See, it was a very, very comprehensive presentation, Greta. I'm like looking at my question. I'm like, oh, she got that one. She got that
No,
one.
but thank you for your comments, because living here in Italy and being used to see that there are some hot aspects that we give for granted, such as like small towns, and that you have brought to the discussion, and it was very useful. Thank you.
Oh, of course. Remind me here, do we stay in Ortese at all, or are we?
No, we're staying in the valley, in the North Valley, in Badia Valley, in Corvara.
They're all quite similar, those little towns.
Yeah.
They've got that like 2-3 streets character to it, the stone roads, and then you're looking through the buildings and you just see a mountain like right there.
Exactly.
You're like, where am I right now?
Exactly. And a lot of flowers and
Lots of
apple
flowers.
strudel everywhere.
Yes.
Maybe that would be just a good way to maybe talk about what kind of accommodations we're going to be staying in. I know that's probably one of your questions.
Yeah, actually, it's the next one I had. Yeah, definitely. I would love to. How do the accommodations enhance our experience here?
So we'll stay in 3 different hotels, 2 in the 2 main valleys that we'll hike in, and the last one is Cortina, which you may have heard of. Accommodation is 4-star. Breakfast is always included. It's locally sourced, because it's in our policy to apply to use as much local venues as possible, whenever possible. Breakfasts will be always included, and rooms will be like spaceful, roomy rooms, and with common spaces to gather, or if not the common space of the hotel, the common hall of the hotel, there will be some coffee bars to have a nice aperitivo together. We'll not always have dinner in the hotel. We prefer to outsource to local restaurants to vary a little bit. But yes, that's the main thing about the hotels to say.
I was going to say as well, you mentioned, there's opportunities for little coffees and cappuccinos, and they are going to be a lot cheaper than you are seeing them over here. Trish has let us know that in Vancouver now, cappuccinos are up to $7. And
ridiculous.
So just to take
$2 in Italy.
That's not going to happen in Italy. You're going to have, and the quality is incredibly different and better. So look forward to that as well.
You may find a little bit more expensive prices in the huts and the mountains, because food is sourced by gondolas.
Yes.
The food, since it's not reachable by vehicles, all the food is stored in gondolas and brought up. So it's delivery makes it makes the choice a little bit less varied, and the price is a little bit higher.
But I will say that I did have the opportunity at Secera to dine at one of the huts. It was called Sophia Restaurant, and it was incredible. All we got was a standard charcuterie board, some coffee, specialty coffees and stuff. But when you're sitting there and the sky is blue and the birds are around, we just sat there for I think like an hour and a half, and we just laid and we ate our cheese and we drank our cappuccino, and the time just flies because you're just so at peace with nature and the people you're sharing this experience with as well. When you're doing active tours, and I'm sure Trish will, back me up on this, you're walking with the same group of people for long periods of time. There's lots of room for conversations, getting to know one another. You become extremely close by the end of your hike, I guess we'll call it. And that shared experience becomes something that you can't say you've done with anybody else, and it brings you closer on another level, which is why I love active tours, and I know Bike Hike shares that
Absolutely.
same theory ideology with us. So I'm with the Women's Travel Club being such a connectivity tool. We just are so happy to have the opportunity to work with Bike Hike to do something like this for you guys.
I will say on that note, I always lead a special departure every year, and some of my best friends in the world I've met on trips.
Yeah.
And then I love watching how they reconnect with each other and then travel together. And so I know that Women's Travel Club is wonderful for that as well.
Oh, well, thank you.
And our slogan is connecting the world through active travel. Connections are so important to us. We're not one of the big players. We've never wanted to be one of the big players. It's the connections that is really, really important.
Absolutely. And I think like with our tours, you know, there's not all active, but we do find that for those niche specific groups that find each other, the active tours tend to, you know, capture those groups a lot more. So, I mean, with my upcoming trek to Machu Picchu in a few weeks, I'm just so excited to find a new travel tribe. And that's kind of what we're in the business of, is finding your travel tribe.
I love that you use tribe, because that's one of the words that we use.
Oh, see, I told you, we're just in sync, the two of us. Which, and I think you guys are also with our Camino trip.
Yeah, Marianne's leaving in maybe a week or two. She's going on a trip first, and then there's another one coming up in September, or I think it's September 2025.
Yes, September 20. I just have it here. September 21st, October 1st. We'll definitely have to do a travel talk for that one, because I am the tour host for the Camino Trail.
Oh, fantastic!
So I would love to be, you know, discussing those that itinerary with you guys as well. I have done Spain, but nothing like the Camino. And I've never been to Portugal. So that's another great opportunity to discuss. But this, you know, we're with the Dolomites now, and that one is a bit before. So again, just to reiterate those dates for those who might have missed it in the beginning, it is June 22nd to the 29th. And again, as Greta did mention, the meeting point will be in Venice. We will have our members fly into Venice. However, when the actual tour starts, it will be once we get transferred together to the mountains, to the Dolomites. And then again, leaving from Venice. But with that being said, I mean, the only question I really had left to ask was, you know, what are some of your favorite landscapes and natural, you know, that our hikers will encounter? But I think the pictures kind of answered that question for me, wouldn't you say?
I also love the little Italian villages. They're so special, and like, just, you know, the cobblestone streets, the ages of the cities, the little shops where you have the, you know, the cheese shop and the meat shop and the just, it's not something that you get over here.
Oh no, you can go into
and everyone know each other.
Yeah. Oh
everyone knows each other. Yes.
And the food is all, no matter, like, you could go to a corner store, you could go to a gas station, you can go to the airport food. Like, it's just, all of it is so good, such good quality. And that, I think, is like, I wouldn't want to be a part of any other, like, I wear my heart on my sleeve with Italy. I love being a part of this culture. And you have three, I mean, Italians here with you today. And I don't know, other than America, I don't know if you'll find a more patriotic country than Italy, as we really do love our people and our culture. And the biggest thing I found with Italians is that we want to share it with you. We love the big family aspect of what makes our culture what it is, and we want to spread that love, and we want to spread the joys of what brings us joy. So that, I think that on top of the hiking experiences, but to bring in those cultural experiences as well through the cheesemaker and the brewery, and even like this sourcing the local foods like polenta. Now, mind you, as a kid I never liked polenta, but as an adult it is a taste that I have acquired over time. And too bland for a child, but when you get older, like you learn to appreciate it. And I think bringing those aspects into this itinerary where it is an active tour, but to pair it with the cultural is super important, especially with Italy. So I commend you guys for taking, you know, this itinerary and tweaking it to the cultural experience that is Italy.
You're so welcome.
Do you guys have any other final remarks you'd like to make about this tour? Any kind of tips, advice, comments for our viewers who might be, you know, on the fence of joining this tour?
Maybe. Oh, okay. Go ahead.
No, you go ahead, Greta. You go ahead.
Disconnect, because do not like enjoy the spot and the moment where you are, because it's so regenerating and so immersive and so quiet, I don't know, so silent, that if your attention is driven to an Instagram or your text or your WhatsApp, you lose it all.
Oh, yeah.
So stay in the moment and in the place where you are, because it's unique.
And in saying that, I have to make this comment, because when I was there, somebody brought a drone. And I know that those shots might have looked incredible, but the sound of that little buzzer just as I'm sitting in these serene mountains. Please don't bring a drone, because it does take away from what Greta is trying to tell you about it. The serenity and the peace and the disconnection, and just to be in that moment is something that you won't experience anywhere else. So try to leave the technology behind, unless it's your phone or just a camera to get your pictures. Take your headphones out and just be with nature. So thank you for saying that, Greta, because I forgot about that little buzzer.
Thank you.
Trish, any final remarks you'd like to make?
We would just like to say that we'd love to host you all. I wanted to actually just share a little story about one of the reasons why I started Bike Hike, and I probably should have shared it at the beginning, but I didn't. But I've been thinking about it. So my mom passed when I was 17 years old. She wanted to travel the world, but she never had a chance. And she said to me before she passed, go and see the world, because you never know what tomorrow holds. And I was the shyest kid you could possibly imagine. I was so attached to my mom, and I decided I'm taking off, and I went on a 5-year trip working my way around the world. And that's how Bike Hike actually began. Wow. So, which is why when I started Bike Hike 31 years ago, there was only like 1 or 2 adventure travel companies in North America. Mm-hmm. And it was just like the adventure travel industry wasn't even really happening in those days. So and then I was on a biking trip in Italy. I biked I'm a big cyclist and hiker, but cycling especially. So I was biking from, I started in the south of France, and I biked all the way through northern Italy and all the way down into Tuscany. And I was biking on my mother's birthday in one Italian village. And she was born in Canada, but my grandmother, grandfather, all that side of the family is all Italian, and very traditional Italian. Mm-hmm. And on her birthday, I was cycling through this beautiful place in Italy, which she never got to. And I felt like she could see through my eyes, her country that were her roots. So it just makes me just like travel is just something so special in my heart, and to see the world, and especially an incredible place like Italy, is just wonderful. So my life has become travel because of that sad experience, but like beautiful, like on
Well,
the other side.
it's beautiful how mothers, and talk about women's travel as well. Like my mom was the one who brought me to the Dolomites, and she's the person who got me on a plane at the age of 1 year old, and every year from then, and she's the reason that I love travel and that I feel confident in travel and that I can do it. And it's just incredible to see the influence of mothers in our lives and how they can connect us to places in the world, even if they're not directly there with us. They are the spearheads behind us, pushing us forward into these ventures. And I love that, that story to me. Like I'm like trying not to actually cry right now because I have such a strong connection with my mother, and she's also my reason in travel as well. And that women influence, and to be a part of a women's group, and an act, one of the first, like you said, action, active adventure travel groups around. It just makes things so much more special and heartwarming. And I thank you so much for sharing that story, because that made my day, honestly. And I can't be more happy to be working with you guys, because it's really
It was
special.
moving.
I'm like, oh my God, I miss my mom's in Italy right now. I'm like, Mom, come home, like, or take me with you, like, but thank you for that.
You're welcome.
And
Thank
with that,
you.
I'll take this down so they can see us, our faces up close, as we bid adieu. And I really, again, thank you guys, and thank the viewers for being here. As everybody knows, this does get recorded and posted to our YouTube channels. Our registrants will get the direct email and link to this recording. If you guys have any questions for maybe specifically Greta or Trish from Bike Hike, you're more than welcome to reach out to me at the Women's Travel Club. I'd be happy to be that liaison for you. If you guys want to talk about the tour and you have more questions, just shoot me an email or call the office, and I'd be more than happy to be on the phone with you for an hour talking about it. But with that being said, that concludes this week's travel talk. And again, thank you, Greta and Trish, for being here with me.
And thank you, Ali. Thank you all.
Yes. I know it's like, it's with the Zoom stuff. You're like, wait, who's talking next? With me. All right. With that, I will say goodbye. So we'll see you guys next week. Will be our last travel talk before I am hiking in Peru. So stay tuned for that, and I'll see you guys next week. Bye.
And have a wonderful trip in Peru.
Thank you. And thank you for your tips, because my my members are going to seriously appreciate that one hugely. So anyways, and stay tuned, because
enjoy your trip, Ali.
Our Camino will be the next travel talk we'll do together. But anyways, with that, take care, everybody, and we'll see you next week.
Bye.
Enjoy your adventures.
Okay.
Bye.